Morning all, it's Wednesday the 25th of June on 2025 and that looks secure enough. I'm Tim, by the way. This is How to Murder Feet and I'm walking the whole coast of the nation of England. Say nothing? England, just England is fine. This is Caister on Sea, where I got to last time, yesterday, after some quite gruelling sandy dune trudging in the last stage north of Great Yarmouth. It's a big wind farm out there. So today we're heading north. This is day 4 out of 5 of this particular trip. And today we're heading to Happisburgh, a tiny little place which has a lighthouse, which is quite cool, but also has a convenient car park and is pretty much halfway between here and Cromer, which is the end of my whole week. That'll be tomorrow. So there's not much between here and there actually. A couple of tiny little seaside coastal villages. Nothing in the way of promenades or big piers or big seaside towns or anything like that. So not a lot of shops either, I don't think. So I'm going to be reliant on my own supplies really. So I've got to get an extra top up before I get going. Done my bike ride, about 14 miles. Very similar route to the route I'm going to be walking as well. A couple of places that coincided as well. One fantastically sandy track that Google thought was the best route for me to cycle down, and about 2 miles where the the sand was going up above the rims of my wheels, which made it quite hard going. A lot of ploughing into dunes and coming to a complete stop. So yeah, a bit of a harder journey here than I was expecting. Got a heel blister. That's well, they'll just have to put up with it really, and a small little toe blister as well. But that's the nature of the beast, I think. Although I think, to be honest, next time I think I'm just going to bring my Merrills again, the ones I was using before, because they have a much wider toe box, and I never got any kind of toe or heel blisters in those. Yeah, I had pressure blisters on the base of the foot, the ball of the foot there, in the Merrills, but that was more of a I'm too heavy and carrying too much stuff type problem. My socks weren't bouncing thickly enough. But these, I think, are just slightly too small. Despite being 13 wide, they say. And of course, until you've walked like 50 miles in them, you're never going to know. I don't know if I've done 50 yet. 314s, 315s really. 30, 45 I suppose I've done so far out of the planned over 30 I suppose, yeah. So what's that, 35, no 30, yeah, 65 I think it'll be in total. Map distance, although there's a lot of zigzagging and getting it wrong, going up the wrong road and stuff. But, yeah, so yeah, I don't know, feeling warm. Yeah, I think next time I'm going to bring my old ones, because I think it was just the stitching had gone on the side, so they weren't in immediate danger of falling apart. So I'll bring those and use those, and I'll bring these as spares, I suppose, keep them in the car. And then when those Merrills do bust completely, I'll just get some more of those, because I know those fit. still got the model in my Amazon history, so yeah, I don't know if that's an endorsement particularly, or just me being pretty cack-handed at being able to size and order my own shoes. So there we go. Right, so I'm going to sit down on that bench and just, have my drink and dawdle for about 15 minutes or so, because I literally just got here with the bike. And then we're going to strike off that way, along the Norfolk coast path, which the ECP has co-opted like it does. But the Norfolk coast path that I've noticed so far seems really not that fussed about, yeah, go on, get on the sand, you want the coast, here's the coast. So I'll have to see. So I'm hoping it's not literally 14 miles of dune top trudging in ankle deep sand, because that's going to be very hard work and slow going. But I'm not on any particular time schedule today. Again, I've got no mod cons. There's no evening meal at the hotel to get back in time for or anything like that. And honestly, to be honest, it's a B&B in the middle of Great Yarmouth, so they're probably happy with people stumbling in there at least after pub kick-out time, and perhaps later. I've got my own key, I don't lock up or anything, so I can get in there whenever I like. But I like to be considerate to neighbouring guests, not be all clunky and noisy at 11. So. Anyway, upshot of it is, I can take as long as I like, because I've paid for all-day parking at the Happisburgh lighthouse car park, and that looks alright. It seems secure, and it doesn't look in anyone's way. I'd have to be super unlucky, and they'd have to be super desperate if they wanted to actually come up with the right equipment to actually steal this. So there we go. Right, yeah, it's time for a small rest, and then we'll crack on with the day's main event. Oh, 11:17, and we're on our way. Bit later start this morning. I get up and leave the B&B at the same time every day, but of course we're going further north this time, so there's an extra half an hour's drive. just to get to the place to dump the car. I'll be later again tomorrow as well by the time I got to Cromer from Yarmouth, which is about 40 miles inland, A roads and things. It takes time. Yeah, so today should be quite a lot of contrast from yesterday. Yesterday was all very built up, very seaside town, very industrial, working ports and so on. Today, quite different. I mean, even the geography has changed. We're onto this sort of coastal dunes type of arrangement now. Dune tops with a path, and then it just cuts straight into farmland. A lot of potatoes up here I've seen on the way. A lot of grains as well. I didn't see so much of in Essex. It's all turf down there, and southern Suffolk. And the Norfolk Broads in broadly that direction. Well and truly into the Norfolk Broads natural beauty area type thing. I've seen a lot of little signs on village signs as we come through on the bike. Alas, I'm not going to show you any of it. Norfolk Broads doesn't really extend into the sea. It's a massive sort of interconnected network of rivers and lakes, the actual Broads of the title, that go right inland to Norwich, which is about 40 miles inland, I think. Something like that. You wouldn't see much of any of that really, because we're on the coast. I don't know if some of it might drain out to the sea here, but I think this is mostly just a big dune ridge curving round to Cromer now. Let's see. So, yeah, this is okay, I don't mind this kind of thing. It almost reminds me of Cornwall and Devon, but lower. And Gwyddian's Dunes, around St Ives sort of way, similar kind of thing. And this is very much the sort of part of the country where occasionally see news reports of people's houses disappearing into the sea. Lots of complaining about insufficient flood defence funding. Maybe we'll see some of that roar as we get closer to various little villages. But mostly I just need to be able to thread my way through this stuff. It's going to be like this most of the day, I think. Let's see, California, which I suspect took its name from the American state rather than the other way around, but you never know. Then there's Scratsby, I don't know, Hensby. See, that's the trouble. I mean, it may seem like I'm just, speaking in tongues at this point, but it's all names. Everyone's got a name. And all places I've never been before. When you're walking, you tend to look at a country on a very zoomed in perspective. So you get all the little names of the little places. And they're all basically built up of a sort of random syllable generator. Berg, Ton, Ford, etc. So they do kind of seem like they all sound still look the same to me, which is a terrible thing to say, I'm sure. But there we go. So that's why I'm getting the names wrong and forgetting them and stuff. Sea Palling. Cycle through there on the way back. That was going to be my original day stage stop for the end of today, but that would have then left me with about 20 miles to Cromer tomorrow, which was not a good idea. Particularly since I don't intend, after tomorrow's hike, to drive home, which is like a 4-hour drive via the M25. So, although it will be later in the day, so that's nice. I'll have, be about 7 or 8 p.m. by the time I hit the M25, so it should be a bit quieter. Be all right. I'll be okay. Done this sort of drive home after a long hike before. Just, just to keep alert. Yeah, as I was saying, East Norfolk Coast Path takes a no-nonsense approach. This is very Cornish. Oh, careful. I feel like I ought to have bought a hard hat. No, just don't dawdle. Right, I guess we meander along here then. The beach living. It's nice. As long as there's a bit of a firm path near the top, which this is, so that's good. And deviates around the occasional sand slide. Lovely day though. I mean, I would much harder. I mean, Only 22 today and brighten up later on, but I don't know about the sky. But then, to be honest, I would rather have overcast and cool breeze than blazing sunshine and still air. There's a bit less wind today, apparently, so it'll be hard going. Stay near the water, I suppose. Yeah. Imagine the storms have gone this storms have gone this October. This will be on the floor again. Half will have to wind its way further up. Yeah. There's going to be a lot of this today. Blimey, I'll be so careful with my OpenStreetMap reader and the ECP overlay that's now on there. So this is California Cliffs Cafe, I think. And that says go along the shore. So I suppose I will. I'll block there. Carry on that way. It might be easier just to go along the wet bit. I don't know what the tide times are. They're not going to rotate it around. I mean, they move every day from what they were yesterday, but they're not only by a couple of minutes each day. So I'm thinking this is probably high tide. Or it's 11 now. High tide was probably about 9ish. I could check for certain. But low tide was about 3, 4ish. So that's going out. Although, as we've seen before, a steep beach, which means it's not going to traverse very far. But that's a nice pleasant pavement for the time being. I can certainly use that. Next place is Scratby, half a mile. So I don't really want to use that because that looks a little dry and hard going, and also there's collapsed cliff and we have to go round or over. We'll try the water's edge for a bit. And just keep an eye out for the next acorn on a stick. Nice to see the acorns again, you know. All along the southwest coast path, became very personal to me, you know. It's almost like an emblem. And then I think the ECP's the King Charles III England Coast Path, the latest black signs with the white symbols. I think they're going with the acorn again, but it's quite a long stretch where I didn't see it at all. It's a comforting image. Uniquely British, I suppose, English. Mostly to do with the association with oak trees, but wow, look at all that. See some houses right on the edge there. I don't know if they got long for this world. Right, well, yeah, this is acceptable going. A little bit trudgy, but quite calm as well. Hugely aggressive waves thrashing their way up the shore. I think it's just low sandbank just there. It's still a bit deep on the gravel. Let's try and find something happy medium, just the right level of compaction. Yeah. Oh, here we are. This is it, just above the stones. Perfect. Yes, good. The beach survival tips. Yeah, because of the nature of the coast here, it's all curving around from sort of perpendicular to east, curving around to perpendicular to north. We're on a sort of basically long, shallow curve all the way around to Cromer now, so it's going to be quite hard to see anything in the distance along the coast. That's okay. Alright, onward. Scratby next. Beach walking. Absolutely meditative. In the zone to start. One foot in front of the other, watch the sounds. It's half most of it is the sound of the sea, the waves. Fantastic. Just crashing away. Vigorous and lazy at the same time, you know. Energetic yet ambient. It's like something furious going on a reasonable distance away that isn't getting any threat or coming closer. It just is. Puts me in a strange mood. Oh, hello. I'll have to get a bit nearer now. See, I keep doing this. I notice something far away and then can't show you on the thing until we get much closer. But looks like we got some attempt at beating the sea there. And canute-like gesture. Does look like a concrete stabilisation on the cliff edge there. Suddenly I'm in sort of deep sand. Can't be waves. Can't be waves, surely. got something breaking the sound barrier. Yeah, might be waves. Yeah, concrete cement slabbing on the side of the cliff there. May do the job, but I suspect the stuff at the bottom will go eventually. And how long you bought yourself there. These are houses that are very much in danger. I imagine it's an absolute nightmare to get insurance for any of it. Go directly to Lloyd's of London. Get some sort of marine-based policy. Don't know. Yeah. That rumbling stopped. I'm sort of currently keeping one ear out for a sort of, World War III, 28 days later sort of scenario. I'll be out walking and I'll come back and everything's been burned to ashes. I'll be the only survivor. I'm not looking forward to it, to be honest. I do like post-apocalyptic fiction, I'm a big fan of John Wyndham and such like, but I've no illusions about being the resourceful survivor, the narrative hero. I'll be gone on the first day, probably during the event itself. And in a way, that's better. Oh god, that's wood. It's wood panelling. Well, it's not even cement or concrete. Well, it might work, but the wood itself's going to perish eventually. Most wooden sea defences succumb. Well, that to me looks like somebody who, possibly the person who lives there, has thought, right, sod it, I'm going to sort this out myself. And applied their, admittedly, reasonable DIY skills to dealing with the problem themselves. But I do wonder how much time that's bought them. Yes. That mouse can see it. Is it World War III yet? My new feature, is it World War III yet? I probably know World War III today. That's the main thing, my main takeaway. Although Starmer's signed off on a whole bunch of nuclear capable jets for the RAF, so, watch that space. Right, there's an off-ramp there. I need to check my map, make sure. I suppose in theory I could just keep walking on this beach all the way around to the lighthouse all day, but I'm trying to follow the Norfolk coast path, which I think is sort of winding along the dunes beneath that cliff. So there's an exit ramp there. I better check my map to see if that's one I need to take, because it does, a couple of points along today, the ECP looks like it splits, and it looks like there's like a foreshore route and an inland alternate through villages and stuff. It's all still quite close to the shore, but and I might try and mix it up by doing some inland bits here and there rather than just follow this dune for the next 12 miles. I don't know yet. But yes, it's always good to keep checking where I am. I'm glad the ECP is now showing up as an overlay on my OSM reader. I recommend that, by the way. Go to the app stores, wherever. OSM reader. I don't know who it's by. And I couldn't really describe what the icon looks like either, so good luck. It just downloads OpenStreetMap based data that then shows you in a handy app form. Very lightweight. It has satellite, your button you can press to make it use GPS to locate you on the map, which is helpful. But you can turn that off as well, because I don't like running that, because it burns the battery a bit on the phone using that too often, so I like to just ping rather than have it constantly tracking. Right, let's see where we are. Oh, here's a helpful sign. So yes, basically, in severe weather or very high tide, you can't go along the beach. But it's not severe weather today, and I think it's going out at the moment. And do I want to stay on the beach or go up top into Scratby and Newport? Looks like it all comes together again at a beach car park just ahead. Oh, I think I'm enjoying the beach actually. Let's do it. Stay on the shore. Well, this bit's a bit hard going. We'll go back to the wet sand on the shore, and then just follow it round. Just keep an eye out for my exit. So yes, low tide's 3 o'clock, I think. I need to check this because it is actually a matter of life and death potentially. Back in a second. Okay, even better. There was a panicky moment there when I didn't have any signal, and this is on the downsides of relying so heavily on a 4G, 5G phone. But Yeah, high tide was 7 in the morning, low tide about 2 in the afternoon, 7 in the evening is high tide again. So picked pretty much by accident, picked the best time to be doing this. So yeah, I could just follow the nice compacted wet shoreline all the way around to the next beach car park by the looks of it. In, where is that? Hemsby, maybe? Yeah, something like that anyway. I lose track of the little names, but yeah, it's a Scrappy and Newport, which I thought was in the Isle of Wight. I guess Newport's not a terribly original name. Not even a port, look at it. And then on to, yeah, some car park at Hemsby, so that'll be the next thing then. So I'm just going to enjoy the shoreline. This is nice, actually. Like I say, I like beaches, I just don't like having to walk in very deep, dry sand. But, you know, if you can find a good bit like this, it becomes an absolute pleasure. Quiet beach too. I think it mustn't. Yeah, I don't think it is school holiday because I've been seeing kids in school uniforms being dragged to school gates as I've been zooming around early this morning. So might account for why all this isn't so quiet. But then this is pretty remote as well, which is nice. I come across very few busy beaches on my walks actually. It's just the usual hotspots. Anywhere with a car park and some amenities, toilet, beach shop, you know, and to attract tourists. And yeah, if you're just here to sit on a beach, you don't want to walk like 4 miles before you do so. Doesn't make sense. Ooh, was that a for sale board up there? No chance. Well, I suppose, you know, you can always knock people down a bit. I want 1,000 off because it's going to be destroyed by the sea within 2 years. Onward. Yeah, it narrows up over there, and that's probably where the exit and car park is. I'd hope. Yeah, this must be the bit they're worried about. I mean, you can see the high tide line, and if it's even remotely vigorously over that, it's going to get straight into this freshly washed off sand dunes here. And nothing had a chance to grow on any of that. That's got to be within the last 2 or 3 years, probably. Yeah, I can see how this pinch point here would be a bit of a challenge. At the wrong time of tide. Oh, there's an ice cream van on that hill overhead. That's for the car park where it all rejoins, the split rejoins back to a single path. I'm alright for ice cream at the moment. Still got another orange Lucasade in my bag because there was a kerfuffle at the shop and it's a £3 minimum charge to use your card. I don't carry cash. My God, what is this? The 1980s? I want to write a cheque. Anyway, so I had to buy 2 bottles in the end, which wasn't a huge hardship because I'm quite into that stuff at the moment. It seems to be doing the job. Right, well, let's get to the ice cream van anyway, and then perhaps we'll make a decision. I doubt they take card either. Should have brought more cash with me. So I left all my coins in the car for parking, hidden away in the glove box. But I don't really want to bring them all along with me, jingling away as every step. So I don't need a drink. I've got plenty. I've got my two 1 litre water bottles are both full, and there's a ½ litre orange Lucasade in the back there as well. So it should do me if I never see anything else to drink from again today, to be honest, till I get back to the car. But there might be shops and things. Sea Palling looks like it has loads. That might be a good place for early evening, late afternoon lunch or something. We'll see. It will be open, of course. This is a Tuesday. No, it's not. It's Wednesday. It's Wednesday, isn't it? Yes. Wednesday on a not a school holiday, so there'll probably be something open. There generally is. As I say, I mean, very rare that I've ever felt I was in a proper wilderness on these trips, you know. Starting from Minehead, all the way around Cornwall, Devon, entire south coast, all the way up the east, Thames Estuary, all the rest of it, Isle of Wight. I've never really, I don't think I've ever been more than like 3 miles from a shop of some sort. certainly half a day's walk to somewhere I could get a drink or fill a water bottle. So I don't even know if that's necessarily going to change going north. It gets a little bit more sparse and further between places, but I think. But there's always towns and villages all the way up, probably all the way back down the other side as well. I've got to think about the Lake District and Liverpool, Manchester sort of area, Blackpool, and Happisburgh Park. I mean, there's still a lot of Welsh villages around that stretch. Not sure what I'm doing with that yet. I have to see how I feel. Because that's, I mean, okay, yeah, the Scottish border, I think I could probably do that in 2 weeks. 2 weeks, much like these. I mean, Hadrian's Way, I could theoretically at a push do in 1 week. I scheduled a few extra days. That's 81 miles, the shortest possible route across east to west. But I'd rather follow the actual border, which doesn't have a proper path, but I can navigate along roads and footpaths and things, find my own way. That's longer. It'll take 2 weeks probably. So, you know, an additional half a year's worth of trekking. But for Wales, the Happisburgh Path's quite long. That might be a couple of years worth right there. So I don't know. Depends if it turns out my health is failing at that point. You know, substantially, the toll of age starting to make itself known at that point. Then I might have to skip Wales, jump back down to Monmouth and crack on and finish. Because after Wales, it's probably about 2 weeks worth to get from Monmouth round to Minehead again. And I'll be done. Depends what I mean by done. Yeah, problems for the future. God, look at all this crap. You won't get that blue one's next, probably. You can see all the water pipes that have just become exposed. There's probably a water main running all along the top of the cliff here. Oh, looks a bit more substantial. What's that? Telegraph pole? Yeah, it looks like. So that's all gone. That black one's not more for this world. This is life on the edge. I mean, you know, you don't see it disintegrating moment by moment like in some action thriller, but over a long enough year-by-year scale, yeah, this whole coast is visibly receding if you sped it up stop motion styley. Like, you know, 1 second a week or something. I'm surprised nobody's doing that. I haven't got the time to stand here that long, to be honest. Alright, let's head to the ice cream van. Up and out. Get off the shore for a bit. Change of scene. Yeah, so I think this is Scratby. See the ice cream van, but I'm also seeing a load of amusement stuff behind. Amusement arcade, etc. I'm not that fussed about ice cream, but if I can find a pub that's doing lemonade, I might partake. I could also use the toilet. I'm going to take a minor inland detour. Like, you know, 100 yards in to where the stuff is. Go and see. But then I am sorely tempted just to carry on the shore afterwards. Check the map, see where it all ends up. I'll tell you about this is Happisburgh, apparently. Lifeboat. Pub down there. Yes, let's go and have a look. Alright, refreshed, ready to move on in many ways. The Leghorn Arms, very good. £3 for a pint of lemonade. I paid £5 for a pint of lemonade earlier in the week, so, you know, it's a hugely variable thing. Although it did taste a bit like generic lemonade, you know. Maybe that's why. Right, here we go, that's me. Looks like we're going on top for a bit. Over there. Through the car park, round the car park. Going the wrong way around the roundabout. What the hell's happening? I mean, I was tempted to just stay on the beach for the whole thing, but I might miss an important turn or something. I say, no doubt we'll be back on the beach before the end of the day. Okay, so that was Happisburgh. We've already been going an hour, so premature lemonade. But you got to take what you can get, I think, very much so. Because there's Winterton-on-Sea, home of House Stark, and then after that is an enormous long, like, looks like about 8 miles of nothing. Or Waxham, I think, is the next thing. So I suspect some of that 8 miles might be along the actual beach too. So worth stocking up on these things when you can. I've still got 2.5 litres of drinkable liquid in my bag. Actually, I don't have any litres of non-drinkable liquid. That would be mad. Well, I suppose my suntan lotion and things have to be pretty desperate before I start cracking that open. And I might need to reapply at some point. It's not super sunny, but that will still get you. Right, I can see a gate at the far end of the car park. That's probably me. It's good to do it. Press on up and out. Sunhouse. Sign in the pub there saying that tonight from 5 PM is all you can eat Mexican night. I can't really hang around that long, to be honest, and then after an all you can eat Mexican night I would be in no condition to walk 12 miles. So let's just push. Sample that delight. Somewhere else, someone else. It's 1 o'clock. A countryside field this leg. Very different from yesterday. Might be just this kind of thing for the rest of the day and maybe tomorrow. Lighthouse up there. I think this is Winterton-on-Sea. Not sure I go up and in there. Not sure there's much up there. Don't think it's another beach town, a beach village. I think it just is. Then after that, it's a big long stretch of nothing at all till Waxham, which is, I don't know, about 5 miles away. So yeah, gonna be a meditative head down and trudge sort of day, I think. Really not much wind, especially not down in this bowl valley. Big old sand dunes there, quite tall. Maybe that's the answer. Coastal erosion, just lots and lots of sand dunes. Can they be artificially constructed? Can you dump sand, plant grass, have it grow quickly enough? Or does it ultimately get eroded as well? Plenty of distance between there and the houses here. Although it's still on a cliff of sorts. I don't know. Keep seeing acorns on posts, that's good. This is the Norfolk Coast Path. Kind of miss the sea though. Well, we are Winterton-on-Sea, where the car park takes an abrupt end. Not allowed beyond the rope. I imagine I can guess what I could see from the other side. Yeah, kind of quiet sort of place. Got a few little restaurant shacks, a car park as well, really, a toilet. Quite understated. So, yeah, sign says go over there along the dunes. I'm very tempted to go down onto the shore instead. It's about 5 miles, 5.5 miles that way to Waxham, which is the next thing. So basically at least 2.5, 3 hour trudge that way. That's the main business of the day. And it's 1:15, so yeah. And after Waxham we start seeing more small villages every mile or two. Going to be hard going. I'm tempted to go and try the shore. I suppose technically I ought to be sticking to the ECP, which is a bit up and downy dunes at the moment, which is quite hard going. But well, let's see. I'll follow it for a bit, and if there's an option, we'll take it. Yeah. Fundamentally, what is the essence of the England coast path? How much more coast path can you get than the coast itself? Literally the median in between the high and low water marks. I don't know. So I don't really know. It isn't like a whole load of cliffs and jumbles and stuff further on. Just assume it's golden sands all the way around to Cromer. I don't know. Alright, let's start with the path and we'll see how I feel. I think I'm lost already. It goes over there somewhere, but without a little post and an acorn on it every 100 metres, I'm going to have trouble. I think it might go off the end of that car park. At this rate, the coastline might be the way to go. Plus, it's all like SSSI or something. I shouldn't be walking on just random bits of it. That's real tricky. There's a signboard, I can still see it by the side of that toilet. It just sort of points that way, kind of. But there's not an obvious path, which is a bit of a pain. I'm going to go off the end of the car park. And I have to use my keen observational skills, or just give up and use the shore. It all looks the same to me. Well, so far so not lost. Let's see how this is not damaging the sand dunes though. Guess we just have to stay on this path. and I don't like this dry, deep sand. I'm feeling today's going to be harder than I thought. Longer than I thought, certainly. Oh. At least on this ridge top, I've got what little wind there is still cooling me now, instead of down in there, so that's good. Yeah, but it's quite hard to bail from the shoreline, I suppose. These fences and dunes and stuff. And it's not much easier to bail from here to inland. Alright, well, we'll just take this ridgeline then, I guess, until it tells me otherwise. Just try and pace myself. Getting into the hot part of the afternoon, I think. Bugs on my arms. I'll get off. Can't take the extra weight. Lost in a dune sea. I can see the coast. I'm still on track. That's good. Just quite surprised, but even out here, there's man-made sea defences just holding this particular piece together. Quite far from anywhere, really, but there it is. Quite like being on the top of this ridge, though. Getting a cool breeze now, quite consistent. Cloud covering over as well a bit. Hopefully it's not going to rain. I'm not seeing any weather report saying rain. It might be a bit tomorrow, I don't know. 30% chance of some rain midday tomorrow, so I might get a little splattered on. I don't know if that means I need to necessarily bring all my waterproof gear, which is quite heavy and very hot to wear. A little waterproof pouch of foam, that's the important damageable thing. The rest of it I could just get wet and then burn it off with sheer activity. We'll see. I have to worry about all that tomorrow. For now, need to just keep moving, like sapping this. Got soft sand in a lot of places, and a long way with not much going on. It's probably why I think that's mostly why I bring you along to talk to, dear viewer. Go mad just trying to rough this myself. Lost in my own head. Yes, just keep following this one. You see another acorn telling me otherwise. Interesting, certainly. There's a sort of textural change. Textural, not textural. I don't know. The one not involving writing. Now, I've not seen a path like this since St Ives, Gwythians, around Cornwall. Generally goes around this kind of dune field. I think we're this side of some sort of chain link fence. Quite old. I wonder if this used to be ex-military or something. Explain all the shore defences and sea defence and chain link. Oh. Sort of place they'd let off bombs during the Second World War to practice. People walking along the beach smarter than me, but I decided to stick to the letter of the path today. Because I've done a lot of complaining in the past about there not being a path, so trying to maintain some sort of standard. Alright, more later. Wow, these go on for miles, like. Lumpy bumpy up and down. I can still see Winterton on Sea. Probably about halfway along. So if I get this right and don't get totally lost, there should be a car park to mark the end of this dune stretch. At which point I don't know what happens after that, but I could do with a sit down certainly. There'll be a dog out running on the sand. I tend to bring your dog that far from the nearest car, so maybe. And yeah, I totally could have walked the shore. That's it. So this is the CP, so here I am. Let's crack on, do some more. I'll have a proper sit down. Maybe some peanuts as well. Yep, made it. Made it to this bit anyway. Found the next sign, which is a challenge enough in itself. Looks like we go inland for a bit here and then track the base of the dune on that side, down in the fields and stuff, which means it's going to be hotter, not as much wind. So I might just have a seat up here for a little while and rest my weary feet. Not so much the blistering now, it's more that they're starting to bruise. Yeah. Let's put the feet up for a little bit. I think this should be alright, just about alright to finish this week, but I wouldn't want to go longer, no. Yeah, I don't think we carry on along the top of that. We'll go down there and then along. So let's see. Anyway, have a small break. I think I might have it's 2 o'clock, I might have my peanuts and re-salt my bloodstream. And some water as well. Speak again soon. So many ladybirds here. It's not very good at macro work, this. We've all seen ladybirds before. Odd though. I mean, I've seen like dozens just sat here. It's really odd because there's nothing really green here at all. You wouldn't think they'd be adapted to the place, but they really do well. Some bugs they can eat. I like ladybirds. I like spiders here on our side. In the war against nasty flies and bugs. Yeah, one there. One on the end there, small one there, one on the one at the back there. Yeah, well, I mean, must have been blown here from more traditional climates, but traditional ecosystem. But yeah, they must really do well here. What eats them? Birds and stuff, shrews. I imagine this is probably adder country, but I haven't seen any at all today, or this trip. Quite a shy, retiring animal, the adder. On the brink of extinction, probably. Fundamentally, nobody wants an animal that can kill you with a bite loose in your countryside, you know. Rarely ever happens. Hasn't happened in my lifetime, actually. Which is, over 50 years. But yeah, people will still persecute them, I expect. I read somewhere that pheasants are a problem for adders. The pheasants eat the adder's young. And pheasants. Stupid birds. Anyway, I'm going to carry on resting. Just thought you might like to see some bugs. Let's have a quick stop to reapply the suntan stuff. Sunblock. Sun's out, guns out, as they say. And by guns I mean SPF 30 sunblock. So, yes. Fire risk high, yeah. I was thinking all the way along there that there's plenty of opportunities for wild camping, but you definitely wouldn't want to bring a burner or any kind of cook stuff. But no camping anyway, so probably because camping somehow causes fires on its own. I don't know, maybe lensing bottles and stuff. Fire beaters. I was right about the military. Oh, mind the bramble. Oh, yeah, press pause for more information. That way to Halsey, which isn't actually on the coast, so we'll probably go past that even though soon. But the coastal path carries on. Yeah, that's good. Yes, military use in the past. Now you've left dangerous objects. Imagine this whole area of some kind of range test. There's a lot of crater-looking depressions in the top of the trees, which didn't look naturally formed. Oh, hello. There's a very large amount of text under a Norfolk Coast Path sign. That's where I'm going next. Between this point, much sensitive wildlife, follow waymark route, yeah, that's okay. And usually acid soils. There's many rare plants and animals, natterjack toads. Okay. Probably not any adders up here then, if there's still toads about. Yeah. Oh no, there's a sign about adders. There we go. Yeah, grey seal, maybe those, have them on the shore. Natterjack toads, adders, nemesis. Rare and protected are only poisonous snakes, keep this, especially with dogs. Even beetles, lizards, and other small creatures. Yeah. No, I haven't seen sight nor hide nor hair of a single snake this trip, so they are very, very elusive. I think I must have been quite lucky to have seen even three, my entire coast path. Oh, right. Let's keep moving. Pressing on. I think we're not even halfway for today yet. Oh, don't worry about it. Coming up on halfway. We've about 8 miles to go today. That was just as a big old ranty bit about how I didn't quite enjoy Norfolk Roar's boating holidays when I was a youngster. But I played it back on a hunch and it didn't have any audio, so I think my microphone might be going. I have to be a bit careful. I just tried to re-record a test one now and it seems to be working again, so I don't know, intermittent. Maybe I should just swap it anyway. And the cable. I do bring spares for this reason. Let me just play this back and see if I can hear any audio on it, and if not, then I can swap over. I might swap over anyway, just to be sure. We have 2 days left on this trip. Day and a half now, I suppose. Back shortly. Oh, testing. Oh, I think this is working again. Oh yeah, just done the sound check and it was fine. Right. Yeah, I came up here because this was advertised as a grey seal colony watching area, but there aren't any. So fine. Yeah, I just listened back to the audio from the new microphone. It's definitely a bit clearer and crisper, so I guess that other microphone might have been on the fritz for quite a long time. I mean, I routinely do a sound check at the very start of the day. So I plug it all in, so just as I'm about to set off and make my first hello, I'm Tim, etc., etc. So I do a sound check every day in the morning to check that, and I usually check the very last thing. Goodbye, see you tomorrow. So you sound check that. But it's just going to get super tedious having to play back every single thing I record during a day. And I can't tell otherwise if a microphone's about to go. They don't like catch fire or a red light goes on or anything. So I can only apologise for any terrible sound quality leading up to now. Or indeed, from now onwards. Yeah, this is all very low tech. It's me. There's no guy with a boom mic out of shot, It's just me doing this. I am my own cameraman and sound guy, and my own tech support. I mean, John can do stuff in the edit, I guess, but probably not if there's no actual audio to work with to begin with. So I don't know. What you see is what you get. It's very lo-fi. Splash out and get these Rode Lavalier plus, collar mic thing, buttonhole mic, but. That's about the extent of it, to be honest. And my everyday average Samsung Galaxy S something or other. Is this a 22? I don't know. This is just the phone I have and use in my day to day. That's basically it in terms of technical presentation here. Anyway, let's get back over and back on the track then. I mean, I don't want to be up walking on this stuff. But I thought there would be seals. I was told there would be seals. There aren't any seals. Maybe they're all out. Anyway, that's fine. Seen seals before. Where did I see seals? Some Ives Harbour maybe, or Penzance, one of those. A whole load of them at Godreedy Lighthouse. So go and look back at some of my early Cornwall stuff, you'll see some. Anyway, I'm going back out and over. Normal service resumed, hopefully. Hopefully this microphone can last about the remaining day and a half. Then I'll have an in-depth look at it all when I get home and see what's what. Yeah, I just double-checked that piece, that was alright. Oh, but what about this piece? Oh God. There's a chirpy little fellow. Ideal for a sound check. Oh, bugger, he's off. They do that, they wait till you got your camera out and they just disappear. I reckon hit it again. Guess where it went. Yeah, there we go. Oh, he's off again. Well, there you go, that's your lot. Oh, I suck at this job. I'm just going to pretend everything's fine and carry on. Ooh, old pillbox there, Second World War. Distinctly canted, tilting away from the dune erosion over the years. Still on the dunes bit between anywhere and anywhere else. Meditative. I was meditating on the technical presentation of this podcast and thinking, I've started watching Around the World in 80 Days with Michael Palin, again, a personal hero of mine. I mean, I enjoy Monty Python and his comedic work, obviously, but for me, he's very much the explorer. I just marvel because, I watched the first episode or two of him off from Folkestone across the Orient Express and so on, and he's basically he sort of turns around and points out his Passepartout, which is what he called, because obviously he's playing the role of Phileas Fogg in all this. He has this Passepartout with him, who is actually 5 people. There's like a unit director, camera guy, a sound guy. He doesn't actually name check them all or point them here, list them all, but I expect they all appear on the closing credits of the episode. That's 5 people, and I imagine in 1988, which is when he did this, I don't think they even really had digital cameras. I'm not sure. They must have been doing all that on film stock, and I don't know what, ferrying it back bit by bit, picking up new reels as they reach new pick-up points. I don't know. I'd love to. I mean, I have actually got this book. Palin wrote an actual book about it all as well, which goes into a lot more detail and depth about the whole thing. I'd love to know more about the technical, what went on there. I mean, his later stuff with like Nepal and Sahara and North Korea, I imagine it's all tip-top modern camera work and stuff. Probably doesn't need 5 people to lug around with him. And yeah, obviously then there's second unit stuff to pick up long shots from helicopters of trains and boats leaving harbours and stuff. All a lot more elaborate than I can put together. Although, I will admit, even in 1988, it was certainly better shot than this. I mean, he's got like a script or a plan or stuff, he's not just ad-libbing it to camera. But yeah. So now here we are, 2025? Bloody hell. Around the World in 80 Days is nearly 40 years old. I mean, yeah, here I am just doing it with a smartphone and a relatively cheap clip-on microphone. No crew whatsoever. No, I'd be the first to admit that the finished product quality is nowhere near as high, but certainly affordable. Something I mean anyone could just go out and do. Anyone has. Hello. Alright, so I reckon we're probably around the halfway mark for today. The feet are okay. I mean, they're throbbing a bit, they're a bit achy. I'm looking forward to lying down for a night, and then I've got to do another 14 tomorrow. And then I'm done. Until, well, a month's time, probably. And I'm really trying to pack it all in this year. Definitely want to try and get 4 trips of 5 days each trip, if I can. Because back in the day, I used to get like 7 days at a time, maybe 6 days. I'd even boast of compressing days together with really long hikes, with the backpacking tent and everything. But since I've settled on this sort of hotel and B&B based day tripping regime, that's naturally meant that, well, I mean, no reason I couldn't do 6 days of hiking and just stay longer, but hotel bills add up, I don't want to spend 7 nights in a hotel if I can avoid it, or a B&B. I have to downsize my expectations, look for cheaper places and so on. But basically, the perk of doing day trips from a hotel base is that I'm not limited to May and September for climate reasons, I mean, I really wouldn't want to try this week, particularly at that 28 degrees Monday, on Sunday, the first day, when it was like proper heat wave. I wouldn't want to have the full bag on for that. And I wouldn't want to be trying to set up wild camping as well, because you get 6 hours of night at the moment at this time of year. So, it'd be much harder to be hidden. And the sleeping bag tent and everything unbearable, I think, generally. So this is why I always only ever did May and September. But if I'm in a hotel, I can walk in any other time of the year. I mean, I'm quite comfortable as long as I've got the right number of layers or waterproofs or t-shirts or whatever. Any time of the year is okay for the actual hiking. It's the carrying all the gear and the camping that's very limiting and restrictive. So if I'm going to do it the easy way, I need to make sure I'm getting more trips in, getting more miles covered, because it is theoretically easier. So yes, I get 6 weeks off work, 6 weeks holiday a year, mostly because it's time in service reward. You get I've been there a long time, and they give you an extra day off a year as a reward, so it adds up. So I ought to be able to get at least 4 of these trips a year. And each trip ought to be able to cover at least 65 miles, in theory. That's the only way I'm going to get this done, before I conk out. Alright, I'm going to have to do a map check, because there's a car park here, looks promising. Let's see what we can find. Gosh. When I drink, I really drink. I have to tip them down my lungs. All recovering. All good. I'm an expert, it's fine. I just had to divert around a private campsite thing there. A lot of litter on the path back there, I tell you. So sea paneling 2 miles, that's good. That was where I was going to stop today, but that would have then meant 19 miles tomorrow. There's that to do, but then about another 4 after that, probably. 3 or 4 to Happisburgh. No, that's okay, we're on the home straight. Once we get to Waxham, I think we're sort of starting to pass lots of small villages until we get to the lighthouse at the finish. Sea paneling in particular is good because I cycled through there this morning and there's lots of shops and cafes and things. It's a bit of a beach car park, sandy beach type destination. Almost certain something will be open there. I might have to get an afternoon snack and a small meal and a lot of drink. And some sit down in a cafe or something. Not bad. 2 miles is about an hour away. I don't know. I don't know if I'm slowing much. I mean, I'm feeling fatigued and tired, but I'm still trudging on, so I'm not quite sure what my actual speed is in the end. It's, aching more, but I think I'm still maintaining a relatively solid trudge for 2 miles, an hour tops, I'd say, for that. It's good. Ooh, I might have to sit down and just occasionally rest my feet. But yeah, I'm wondering about tomorrow. It's like the last 2 trips before this one, I've done a half day on the 5th day, and then driven home. But I intend to do an entirely full day tomorrow instead, and then drive home. Try and get myself back up to doing at least 5 days of a trip, instead of 4 and a bit, and then get fed up and go home. Try and extend my endurance a bit. These new boots haven't helped. I'm definitely going to switch to the old ones again for the next trip. Bring these as spares, and then when the old ones do actually fall apart, I can order some new ones of those. I think because they were better. I think all in all. The problems I had with those is largely to do with not thick enough socks, and I weigh too much, that kind of thing. And so these, so as I said earlier, these genuinely do pinch a bit on the little toe on that side and the heel on this one. both blisters of which have completely calmed down now, which is good and bad, maybe. They've just stopped registering, so that's fine. They'll have time to heal over the next couple of weeks. Just need one more day out of your feet. And you get to have the night off as well, so, I'm a fair taskmaster, I think. Right, 2 miles, let's get it done. Then I can have a sit down on a cake or something. And then on to the afternoon evening session. Finish up at the lighthouse. Definitely broken the back of today though. We're beyond the halfway mark now. And the big bit with nothing in it. We'll start seeing things as we go ahead. It's good. Yeah. Looks like we're in for some June top bullshit. Oh, look. I haven't seen any agricultural work this trip until now. What's that? It's just hay baling, isn't it? Grass cutting up, baling it for winter stock for feed. I guess crops aren't ready yet. A lot of green in the next field, at least they become yellow first. They're early for harvest, really. But I suppose grass you can do pretty much any time it's fully grown all year round. Sand slope. Yeah, not going at that one, I think it's safe. Alright. Just keeping in mind the cafe stroke restaurant at Sea Paling. Has to be about 1.5 miles now. Which better be open. Otherwise there's going to be some very embarrassing dropping to knees and screaming. Navigate some dunes first though. Check my map, make sure this is all above board. Twist the old lumpy field margin for a bit here. That's a check to make sure I hadn't gotten lost, but no, this is it. Takes a sharp right in a minute and carries on the right way. This is Waxham, so doesn't think there's much here. I'm not going to stop anyway. This is the first village after that massive, horsey gap, I suppose they call it. From Winterton on the sea. I'm sorry there. I think the Puritan might be wearing off. I can make it. But yes, so about 6 miles of not much at all, and then back to here. It's a very small, regularly interspersed villages here till they're finished now, so that's good. Sea Palling's the one that's all set up for tourists by the looks of things, so we'll try for that. I think it's probably another mile this way. Looks like I might be able to get through this hedgehog, this bloody thing. I don't think there's a giant hogweed, but I think they're a similar enough family to give you a rash if you bash against them, so I've been trying not to. Same family as the cowslip as well. I think those aren't quite as bad, but still unwanted hedgerow irregulars. Worth. Right, so somewhere along here on the right should be a turn. Big Norman church. There's a few of those. Like every village around here has got its own big blocky tower attached to a church. I think that's Norman. Neo-Atlantean. I don't know, one of those. Something up ahead, I'm sure. Take a right, that's all. That must be Sea Palling across the golden field of barley there. Just need to get down there and along the end, and then into there. I think that's where all the restaurants and beach shops and things were. There's a big cut through to the beach on the other side. I think, looking at my mapping, it may be on the beach after this. So, anyway, even if the place is closed, nothing's open, I'm still going to sit down for half an hour and drink my water. What was it, 20 past 4? I can definitely afford half hour or so. And then on for the final push. Good stuff. Yeah, wind slacked right off. I think I might be overheating a bit. Definitely time to sit down and have some cold drinks. I press on too much. Is it up ahead? Hope so. And here we are. Oh, it's 4:30 on the dot. Something there, bistro. It's not a cold drink. Oh, whatever. I shall find the ice cream shop over there. Ideally something in the shade, but in the wind. That would do me. I'll sort something out anyway. I'm going to sit down for a bit one way or another, and then I shall speak to you again anon. Do. So, all refreshed and hydrated and snacked up and stuff. It's pretty much 5 o'clock, and Cromer is 16 miles away, but that's not for today, that's fine. So there's a sea route and an alternate route. I'm going to try the sea route, just go along the coast. So I think will basically take me up to Eccles-on-Sea, and then eventually to Happisburgh once we rejoin the path there. So I think it's 3.5 miles to go to the car now. I think I can do that in 2 hours. So let's crack on to the sea. Nice to be on the shore again. Breeze seems more consistent here as well, which is good. It's coming pretty much straight from that way, so yeah. Right, yeah, it might be a little bit rough going ahead. So we'll watch out because the tide's coming in now, as we saw earlier. I think 7:20 or so this evening is high tide, and we're at 5 o'clock now, so that's obviously that is coming in. But I think with a bit of careful common sense and observation, we should be alright. That's not that far to go now anyway. That's 3 miles worth. I think we get off the beach before then anyway, or the very end, so yeah, that's all good. So, Eccles-on-Sea, I think, is next. Small village. Nothing to do with the cake, I think that's further north and west. Nice way to finish the day. Bit of this. That's where the actual path is. I've probably going along the dunes, but I'd rather not. There's a warning sign there, probably adders. Unexploded munition, who knows. Stay on the sand, that's better. Cooler, certainly. That stilted dead air that we had earlier today. It's good. A little bit slow, I mean some of this is quite powdery still, but it's alright. We'll get there. Got Groove Armada going round and round in my head now. More Chiba. Oh, it's setting the scene, but hard to think of anything else. It's all very Charlton Heston. Yeah, I think this is me. Decided to abandon the shore. It keeps doing this sort of in and out bay and cove thing and promontory, and also tide is coming in, so probably ought to make some effort to not get caught and embarrass myself on local news. Ancient concrete sea defences here, but dunes have just swallowed them mostly. Not sure what era this is all done in. But yeah, dunes really do move then, because that can't be more than, I don't know, 50 or 60 years old. A large-scale sea defence building programme in, I don't know, era of concrete, certainly. So, yeah, I can see a post with a thing on the top at the end there. I think this is the shoreline variant of the path. The inland one, well, I got bored of inland stuff because that's what I've been doing most of the afternoon. Sort of ground nesting birds area. There's a lot of bits they don't want you to go on. Follow this obviously trodden path here. Eventually we'll get to Eccles-on-Sea. And after that, my car at Happisburgh. Happisburghs, no, that's a royal dynasty, is it? Very confusing. Don't mind how tired I am. Look how beautiful this all is. Slow pan. You can see something up on a tall promontory. Is that Happisburgh, or is that a bit nearer than that? We're out of this problematic dune stuff anyway, so I might stay down on the beach. I was contemplating trying to bail out onto the alternate route, but if I can get back onto the wettish sand, it's actually easier going to stay down. There's a place called Eccles-on-Sea, somewhere around here, ahead maybe, which has another split, where it goes inland or stays on the shore. But I'm just wondering if I'm dicing with the tide at this point. We ought to just stick to inland detours if there are any at this point. I've got to find any of it. Dunes are hard navigating in. Because they move, I suppose. Although you can stick posts with acorns on in, but in 2 years' time, are they still going to be there? Let's see if there's anything obvious around this corner. Oh no, actually I think I can see Happisburgh lighthouse there, just come into view. In the wrong zoom mode for this really, but there, centre shot. That's where I've basically parked my car. So this thing here is obviously some sort of church or day mark or something, so let's get to there first and then beyond. Well, that's good, not too far ahead then. I could measure it, but kind of hitting the battery hard. I've got like 21% charge left now, which is quite low for this point in the day usually. It only goes down quickly when I use the satellite update feature in the OSM reader to actually pinpoint where I am, which is really good actually, I'd say. Doesn't need mobile signal, see, it's straight GPS. So, if I get no bars, I can still find out where I am. But I have to go sparingly with it or it'll kill my phone. This points into the dune. Nothing there. What are you talking about? Oh, hello. Touch the screen by. Yeah, okay, good. Alright, well, we've done a challenging bit, but I'm wondering if I ought to... No, I think we'll be alright there. Let's go down to the wet bit. And we'll progress to the other side of Eccles-on-Sea via the shore, because I quite like being on the shore. I just don't like being on this. Let's get to some solid sand and then we can crack on. Good. Seems like we're getting there. I am looking forward to not being on my feet. Driving and so on, and then lounging on my bed in my B&B room. Whilst my pitiful feet attempt to heal themselves in the short amount of nighttime hours they've got before they have to do it all again tomorrow. They won't. Spoiler. But, they'll buy me more miles So I'm back there at Sea Palling, so Chroma was 16 along here, and I'm doing 3.5 beyond that to the point where my car is, which obviously means 12.5 miles to do tomorrow, which I'm, I don't know, trepidatious about. It'll be a record in this current season. I mean, I'm not really sure even, I don't know what changed between, me throwing on a 20 kilo backpack and then doing like 6 20-mile days in a row. I think something changed since then. I've become softer in some way. Either age or just, complacency. Lack of any actual training in between. I want to be able to get back up to at least 5 15s in a row, which is what this week will be if I manage to succeed tomorrow. I'm not even worried about the bike ride bit. That seems to be negligible. It seems not to actually cost me anything, energy or strength or stamina wise. It just seems to be isolated in itself. It's its own thing. So that's fine. So I can carry on doing the bike ride bit. Even though today I could have easily got a bus all the way where I needed. Probably yesterday as well, looking at the routes. Maybe today, I don't know. Tomorrow? No, let's do the bike. Lugged it all the way down here as I use it. Plus I feel good for being self-sufficient. Right, here we go. Get some traction and some mileage done. Get on the move. As you can see, that is coming in. It's freshly wetting dry sand, so I've only got a couple of hours really, although this is probably the high tide mark anyway, so I don't think I'm in any real danger. That probably doesn't even get, that's why it's all so hard to bloody walk on. It's completely dry and doesn't get touched by the sea, except in super stormy surge weather, which it isn't today. Right, so Eccles and beyond. Pleasant evening now, it's cooled down a bit. The wind hasn't stopped. I think this is the same continuous sea defence structure that has been there all the way back to Sea Palling, which is about 2 miles behind us now. Only the dunes have swallowed it up there. You can see bits of it poking out as we were crossing the dunes. Astonishing. And when this stuff was built, tide coming in. About another hour probably till high tide. I'm alright. Don't think it goes all the way up to this concrete stuff, and there's quite a few escape routes as well. As long as I don't just stop here for a half hour, I should be done with all this before it gets inundated. It's quite a rise it's got to climb over, and then I think we're coming off of the shore anyway soon. Looks a little bit cliffy up ahead. There's a couple of promontories in the distance. It must be the bit that holds the shoulder of this whole Anglia section together. Stops the whole thing just being eroded back to the sea. That's something solid on the corner. Otherwise there wouldn't be a corner. So maybe we get a bit of cliff top stuff tomorrow. Yeah, I don't know if any of that's today. I think the lighthouse might be just this side of that stuff. But just keep walking, we'll find out. There's people walking on the beach there. They're obviously not that concerned. I'm obviously not in any immediate danger. Nice day. Been a good day. Harder work than I thought, probably because of the sand and the heat, but today I've been more on the beach than in many a day I can think of on this entire trail. This is a very hands-on coast path. I like it. Like it, but also would like it to be over soon. Both can be true. Just because I'm tired of a thing doesn't mean I don't like it. I am literally tired of the thing. The thing remains excellent. Evening fishermen setting up, see? They must know about where the tide goes and how far up they need to set their rods. See, clues in the land. Clever. Oh, there goes the 15% battery charge warning light. because I've been hitting the GPS, but I didn't want to get this wrong. That looks like that might go on quite a way, but there's no way out or up or back, so this looks like my turning. There we go, inland top from here on home. So this must be Eccles-on-Sea then, that we've just passed mostly. Onto Happisburgh next. I have got a charging cable in my car, and my car has a USB socket, so I can start charging the phone as soon as I get back to the car, which is good. Saved my phone on many a day out. But I may not do too many more bits to camera before the end of today. That shouldn't be far off. If I'm not wrong, we ought to be able to see a lighthouse or something. I have to look for some more signage. But yes, I think it's inland from here on. So there we go. Hope you enjoyed the beach in the evening. Don't know if there's going to be any beach tomorrow. Looking ahead along the coast there, it looks all a bit promontory, all a bit cliff top. I mean, not proper cliffs like, Cornwall or Devon, but I don't think there's going to be much walking on sand tomorrow. Well, I hope not anyway, because it's quite hard work. So it is. Alright, speak again soon. Ooh, a hill there, small one. Big row of little off-grid bungalow retreats there. They look quite picturesque and homely and rustic. Mind you, we spent most of the day looking at them from the shore. They seem a lot more perilous and fraught from that angle, I have to say. Don't know how well these ones are protected. There was quite a bit of concrete seawall down there. But potatoes in flower. First ones I've seen this year. All the ones south of here weren't flowering yet. So these are an early variety or something. Or maybe this is just a fantastic microcosm for spuds. Oh, and there's the lighthouse. So the car park's actually on the cliff edge near the village. You go past, that's a good lighthouse, that classic design. Slender, elegant, red and white stripes. Brilliant. I'm not even going to begin to try and name a lighthouse review section, but I'd definitely give that one a solid 8 or 9. There's always room for improvement. No one gets a 10. So that blocky church thing must be the other side then. That's in the village proper, right, so I don't actually need to go that far. Car park should just be up ahead then somewhere, which is good. So I'm now cruising on 13% battery and it's doing like exclamation marks in the notification tray. What time is it? 11 past 6 in the evening. Yeah, on for a 5:30 finish I think, which would make about 7 hours. 7 hours to do 14 miles, that is about 2 miles an hour. Slow, it feels slow, but as I say, heath and a bit of sand. But yeah, I'm pleased, I'm glad. Alright, let's actually get to the car park and reveal that the car is still there. We're doing a triumphant sign-off. Blimey. Now look at this, it can all go. Swerve inland into this field around this bit. Probably all happened suddenly one stormy winter. Gosh. Watch out this next section. There we go. Another day, the car's not been smashed up or set on fire or stolen. Excellent. Alright. Gosh, another day under the belt. That Sisyphean map pin rolled one step closer to Cromer. Well, one step closer to Minehead, I suppose. But also Cromer. Oh, I'll leave you with a fantastic view of the majestic lighthouse. Oh, what's that there? That was, just about 6:30, 18:23. And about 10% left on the battery. Good. Done well. Right, well, I'm going to leave you here. I've got to go and find and load Thunderbird 1 into the cargo bay and then return to the B&B to collapse, which I think I've earned, frankly. So join me tomorrow for the last day 5 of 5, where I go from here to Cromer, which is sort of that way, and then attempt to drive home to West Berkshire immediately after finishing, which I'm questioning the wisdom of, but will probably work out fine. I think if I get much further north, I might have to start incorporating a travel day at the end of the holiday as well. Do just you know, grit my teeth and take the extra night in a B&B or hotel cost. It's probably far safer, but we'll see. Anyway, yeah, so see you next time. Ta-ra.